Here's a question. How many pages does your website have right now? 4, 10, 20? And here is my follow-up question to that. How many of those pages are actually working for you? How many of them are helping you get clients and make sales? If you're like most small business owners that I work with, you probably have way more pages than you actually need. And all those extra pages, they're not helping you. They're actually making things harder. Today, we're going to chat about the website pages you think you need, but actually don't. And I'm going to share which pages are just adding clutter to your site, why you don't need them, and what you should focus on instead. And here is the best part. When you simplify your website, everything gets easier. Your site is easier to navigate, it's easier to update, and it actually converts better because your visitors aren't getting lost in a maze of pages and choices that don't really serve a purpose. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed by your website or you're planning a redesign and wondering which pages you actually need, this episode is for you. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B, web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Welcome back to the pod. I am so happy that you're here. If we haven't already met, my name is Jenny B, and I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio, and my passion is helping small business owners just like you design a beautiful and strategic website that attracts your ideal clients and makes you money. One of the biggest problems I see when people come to me for a website design or redesign project is that their current site has way too many pages. They've got pages for everything, and it's actually hurting their business instead of helping it. Today, I would like to give you permission to simplify. This is actually my favorite word, simplify. I would like to show you which pages you probably don't need so you can focus on the pages that do actually matter. Now, before we dive into the specific pages you don't need, let me explain why having too many pages is actually a problem. The first is that it can confuse your visitors. When someone lands on your website, they should be abundantly clear who you are, what you do, and how you help someone. And they should be able to figure out where to go in about 3 seconds or less. If your navigation menu has 10 items in it, they're going to be overwhelmed. They're not going to know where to click. They don't know where to go to find what they need. And when someone is confused, they tend to leave. Second, the more pages you have, the harder it makes to maintain your website. Every single page on your website, it needs to be updated. It needs fresh content, needs to be checked for broken links, update numbers, reread and make sure that everything is concise and reflects who you are as a business today. And the more pages you have, the more work you're creating for yourself. And let's be honest, we are busy running our businesses. We don't have time to update 20 different website pages as much as you're going to need to do. Third, the more pages you have on your website, it dilutes your message. When you spread your content across too many pages, each page becomes a little bit weaker. Instead of having one strong services page, you've got 5 mediocre pages. And instead of one compelling about page, you've got 3 different pages that kind of say the same thing. And finally, it's not good for SEO. Google wants to see clear, well-organized content. And when you have too many thin pages that don't have much substance, Google doesn't know which pages are important. It is better to have fewer pages with really solid, helpful content than a bunch of pages that barely say anything. So simplifying your site structure isn't just about making your life easier. It is actually a smart, strategic move that will help you convert more visitors into clients. Now let's talk about which pages you can get rid of. The first page that I don't think you need is a separate page called Our Team. If you are a solopreneur or you have a small team, say, 2, 3 people, I don't think you need a separate team page. I think that it is more important that you put your team information on your About page. Here's why. Make your About page really juicy. It is telling your story. It is building that connection with your visitors. And when you add your team members to that page, it makes sense because it's all part of the same story. You're showing who you are, what you believe in, and who's going to be working with your potential client. And that is your team. When you create a separate team page, what happens is you just add an extra click, and that extra click is always an extra chance for someone to leave your site. It also disrupts that emotional connection because when someone's on your About page, they're reading your story, they're getting invested, they're feeling that connection, and then you're asking them to go to another page to read your team and who's on that team. Keep it simple. If you have a small team, put them on your About page and just leave it at that. Now, if you do have a large team, of 15, 20 people, and you feel like it's necessary to show the team members, then sure, that would make sense to put them on a separate page. But for most small businesses, it's not necessary. And I also don't think it's necessary to show long bios for each of your team members. People aren't going to read that. They just want to know who they're going to be working with and see a face so that they can make that emotional connection. The second page that I don't think you need, and I see this a lot in older sites, is a page called Our Process. People used to create a whole page dedicated to their process. Step 1, this is what we do. Step 2, this is what we do. And the thing to note is that your process is very important. I'm not saying that it's not, but it doesn't need its own page. It should really live on your services page and even possibly as a section on your homepage. Why? Because when someone is reading about your services, that's when they want to know, what's it like to work with this person? They're thinking about hiring you. Someone's on my services page and they're reading about my signature website design. They say, oh, I want to know how Jenny works with her clients. And then I share with them. We have a consultation call. I send a proposal. Then we have a kickoff call. And then I start building your website. And then 3 weeks. And then you do the reviews and then we launch it. Very simple process. That's what it's like for me. And you want to know and have that information after you're reading the services. If you're having them read your services and then click another page to read the process, it breaks that flow. And it's just an unnecessary step. And I shared before, every click is a chance for someone to leave. So if you have your own processes page, consider adding it as a section on your services page and make it simple and clean. It's easier to navigate and it keeps people engaged. The third page you don't need is a Why Choose Us page. This was popular a while ago as well. This one is kind of a mind boggler for me because the entire purpose of your website is to show people why they should choose you. Every single page on your website needs to be answering that question. You don't need a separate Why Choose Us page. Your home page should be showing why you're different. Your About page should build that trust and connection and make people understand why they should choose you. Your services page, same thing. Demonstrate your expertise and your value. You don't need a separate page that basically says, here's why. I'm interrupting this episode to ask you a question. Is your website working as hard as you are? You've invested in a website, but if visitors aren't becoming paying clients, something's missing. My website audit is a professional review where I will analyze your site and identify exactly what's blocking conversions. You'll get a prioritized action plan with specific changes to turn more browsers into buyers. So stop guessing what's wrong and get some clear answers. Book your website audit today. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode. We're great. Instead of that, weave those reasons throughout your website. Use testimonials on your services page. Share your credentials on the About page. Include client results on your homepage. Integrate this naturally throughout your site. It is much more powerful than having it all crammed into one page that people won't even visit. The fourth is a separate Meet the Founder page. This sometimes can be found in older websites or in nonprofit websites. You don't need a separate Meet the Founder page. It is literally what your About page is for. I think sometimes people create this page because they want to share more about themselves. And that's all well and good, but when you do that, you can just do that on your About page. Make it a little bit longer. Add those extra stories, share more photos, include personal detail. That is building the emotional connection. And the About page is the perfect place to do that. Having two pages that talk about you in the same place is a little bit redundant, and it's adding that extra click that people probably won't take. So keep all of that great personal content on one strong About page. Number 5 is a separate testimonials page. Testimonials are critical. I talk about this all the time. I have so many episodes about testimonials, social proof. It builds trust. But you do not need a separate testimonials page. Here's why. Testimonials should be sprinkled throughout your site when people are making decisions. Put them on your homepage. Put them on your services page right next to your call to action. Put them on your contact page. Put them on your About page. When someone is on your services page and they see a testimonial right next to a button that says, Jenny helped me book 3 new clients in the first 30 days, that is powerful. That's the moment they need to see social proof when they're going to take action. But if you have your testimonials hidden away on a separate page, most people won't go find them. They'll make the decision without ever seeing them. And that is an important trust-building content. Use your testimonials strategically. Place them where they will have the most impact. And skip that separate testimonials page. Having a separate philosophy or approach page. And this is very similar to the Our Process page, but a philosophy approach. This happens a lot with coaches and consultants. They create a page that's all about their philosophy or their unique approach. And I 100% get it. Your philosophy is you. This is what makes you, you. Right? But it doesn't need its own page. This content should be woven into your About page and your services page, where you're telling the story on your About page, sharing with what you believe in. When you're describing your services on that service page, explain your approach. Make it part of the natural flow of your content. Creating a separate philosophy page just creates more navigational clutter, and people aren't going to click it. They want to know what you offer, who you are. And your philosophy is part of that, but it doesn't need to be its own destination. This next one, a resources page, that's just a link down below. This one, I am such an offender of this one. I love the idea of providing value to your audience. That has always been one of the goals of mine. But when you have a resource page that just has a random collection of links, that's actually not helpful. I think it may have been helpful maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when people were looking for new tools and didn't know what others were using and were wondering, oh, yeah, Jenny's a web designer. What tools does she use? They would go to your website and find out what you used and then go see if it worked for them. But today, I don't think that a resource page with just listing your links is the best thing to do. And I still have one on my side. I've got to take care of that. But consider, instead of having a resource page where you just have a link dump, consider adding those links to blog posts where they're relevant. Link those helpful tools when you're writing about a specific topic. When I'm writing about how my website books consultation calls for me while I'm sleeping, it's because I'm using tools like HoneyBook. When I'm writing a blog post about that, including a link to that specific tool is more helpful. It's contextual. It's not just a random list. And it's more helpful for your audience. So if you have a resources page, and I'm guilty of this, think about what can you do to repurpose that page so it's just not another page, another click on your website. So those are the pages that I don't think that you need to have on your website. What are the core pages that you actually need? You need a home page. That's where you tell people what you do, who you help, why they should care. It is your front door. Make it clear, compelling, make sure people know exactly what to do next. You need an About page, and sometimes people forget about this page, but it is one of the highly visited pages on your website. This is where you build that personal connection, you share your story, build trust. People decide if they like you and if they want to work with you on this page. Then you need a services page, or if you sell products, a shop page. And it explains what you offer, how you help people, it has your process, your philosophy. Be specific and clear and make it easy for people to say yes. Then you need a contact page. And please make it easy for people to contact you. I've done a lot of episodes on what should be on that contact page. Make sure that it's simple for someone to book a call or get in touch with you. And then if you are blogging regularly, You need a blog page. That's it. So 4 or 5 pages, that's all you need for a website that works. Those are the core pages. The pages that I said that you do not need should not be in that core package. Now, that is the basics. I want to be clear when I share this with you. I am not saying that your website should never have more pages, because that's not what I believe. In fact, I believe as your business grows and you start focusing on search engine optimization and AI optimization, there are strategic reasons to expand your site. For example, if you offer multiple distinct services, and here's the key, each one has enough content to fill a page. If you are a plumber and you offer plumbing repairs and you offer boiler repair, furnace repair, each of those services, as long as they have enough content, should have its own page, because this helps Google understand that you offer these specific services, these keywords. They are a different target keyword, and it can help you show up more in search. But here's the key. Start simple. Get your core pages right. Make sure your homepage converts. Make sure your services page clearly explains what you offer, and your about page builds that connection. Once you have that solid foundation, you can expand strategically and add those services pages. Another idea that a lot of my clients do is also build out location pages. If you are a local business and you offer plumbing in Burlington, and then you offer plumbing in Woburn, and you offer plumbing in Reading, having a location-based service page is also helpful for SEO. But again, this is once you have the foundation set, you can take the next step and start building on SEO. You need to focus on what matters most first. So there's my little disclaimer, is that yes, I don't think your website needs to be huge. I think 4 or 5 main core pages. But from there, you can start building on to help you be found better in search, in AI search, and in Google SEO search. So some things to do this week after you listen to this episode. Go take a peek at your website navigation, look at the pages that you have, and ask yourself, is this page actually helping me get clients? Is it necessary? Or is it just adding to the clutter? Make a list of the pages that you could potentially remove or consolidate. And that's an important word, consolidate, because I guarantee there are probably pages that you can put together. Maybe merge your small team page with your about page, or put your processes on your services page and delete that separate process page. And you don't have to make these changes right away, but think about how you could start simplifying, because I promise you a simpler site is better. And if you want a professional set of eyes on your website to help you figure out what's working, what's not, then that's exactly what I do in my website audits. I will go through your entire site, look at your structure, your content, your calls to action, and give you a clear plan for how to improve it. You can book a website audit with me at the link in the show notes, and we will get your site streamlined, simplified, and working harder for you. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.